Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron or Ajmarkle. I am talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. And some of you know I play Five Nights at Freddy's on my channel, and I still plan on playing Five Nights at Freddy's 4 on my channel for October. But there's a lot more games coming. But anyway, Five Nights at Freddy's. We're gonna go into it right now. Let's talk about the games first. So, in 2014, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, Scott Cawthon, who at the time was a struggling game developer, created Five Nights at Freddy's, the first game. A game that basically introduced indie horror into the world of horror games. Now, horror games have been around for a while, including Slender Man, for example. And Scott Cawthon basically put his own twist to it. How you're in an office and you're trying to survive the night from animatronics moving into the night that would put you in a suit because you're not one of them, when it's a much deeper story that we don't know about from the first game. But there are Easter eggs that indicate clues throughout the game. Then there's Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which instead of being a sequel is a prequel to the first game that introduced us to even more backstory and even more dark elements that we didn't know about. There was even 87, which also was a callback from the phone guy for night 1, talked about the bite of 87. So it would be assumed that FNAF 2 probably was around in the timeline of the bite of 87. Maybe, who knows? And then there's Five Nights at Freddy's 3, which was said to be in the future at the time, which was at a new attraction from a different company, Fazbear's Frights, which introduced Springtrap, which was an animatronic that was locked in. And we didn't know at the time, but the purple guy, which was revealed in FNAF 2, basically was in that suit trying to escape the ghost of his past. Then FNAF 4 came along, which was the definite prequel to FNAF 2 and the prequel to all the FNAF games, right? Perhaps so, because it had Fredbear and Friends, and it also had 1983 on there. It's still a debatable theory. And then after a bit, we go to Sister Location, which was somewhere between FNAF 2 and 1. There's debate on that too, but it was developed probably between FNAF 4 and 2, but it was set in between FNAF 1 and FNAF 2 because of the timeline for Michael Afton, who was the guy in the Red Foxy that was end up being the second quote-unquote purple guy because of the animatronics in the Sister Location. Yeah, we don't talk about that too much, do we? And then FNAF 6 was the supposed end of Five Nights at Freddy's Pizza Simulator. And Ultimate Custom Night was the possible purgatory, but some say it's not canon. So probably won't count as canon, but if it is, who knows. And then there is Help Wanted, which kind of goes into the deeper secrets of Five Nights at Freddy's, including, and is not limited to, like cleaning animatronics, maintenance, FNAF 1 through 5. You get the hint. And then it ends with Security Breach, as of right now, where it has a new management direction, but also an old foe. As it says in FNAF 6, I always come back. And sadly, it's been overused. I mean, personally, I think William Afton, in my opinion, while he says I always come back, needs to go. I'm just gonna be honest with you when I say that. So, when's the end? I have no idea. And that's just the game so far. I mean, I didn't go into the gritty details of the games, but I did go into I guess you might say the dark elements of the games, so you might understand. And I would recommend playing those so you guys get an understanding. And of course, after, Sister Location, all the games, during that time, we got merch and even the books. This one, my girlfriend bought for me for my birthday. It was and these I bought for myself. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of books for FNAF today. And there's even fan games, and there's even merch that people can sell. And there's plushies too. I mean, I personally don't have any FNAF plushies myself, but that's okay. I don't mind. So basically there's a lot from the FNAF games, and now there's merch and games and books. But the one important thing is the community itself. There's been a lot of negativity in the community from people sometimes, but there's also some positive. Like, there's positive people supporting each other, there's people backing each other up, discussing things, and forming their own community. Some of them even, who are the pillars of FNAF, I wouldn't say they're part of the community, but I'd say they've been high respected in the community. Some of them include Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Korea's Kenshin, and Dako. The list goes on. You guys probably will name a few in the comments. I mean, I read the comments. I really appreciate you guys commenting and liking the videos so I can see where you guys are coming from and understand what you might say. And some of you made fan films. I made a couple myself. No longer canon in my book. And so basically there's a lot of creativity in Five Nights at Freddy's. So what can I say about Five Nights at Freddy's? Well, what started off as a game developer who was struggling, attempt to make a better game, turning into a masterpiece for some, and some might say it was a great game, okay, not so good, whatever you say. And even to the point where you expand on from games to merch, fan games, and even expand the community as well. Heck, some of you have their own OCs, including myself. So credit to some of my friends who made SFM Renders, obviously. I always credit them. And you guys also probably have seen so many videos of Five Nights at Freddy's and how the audience has gotten younger over the years. I mean, it used to be like up there to the adults, teens, and even preteens. Some even a little younger when it comes to their version plushies. But the true matter is, no matter where you go, you never will be able to hide, especially since there's a more dark secret of Five Nights at Freddy's. Ooh. Now in the end, I can digress. I digress that Five Nights at Freddy's is a good series. It's not the greatest in terms of like, oh, it is the scariest game. Get me a break. It's not the scariest game. I've seen scarier games. And also might say, what about the jump scares? Jump scares are more of a jump factor. But I will say, to this very day, Five Nights at Freddy's 4 will always be the scariest game of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. Now, some might even go out there to say that some of the FNAF fan games are pretty scary as well. Like Five Nights at Candy's, for example, is a scary game. Five Nights at Wario's. The list goes on. Like, seriously, it goes on. I mean, you just have to explore for yourself on why these games are scary. And it's so easy to just watch a video and say, that ain't scary. Then you play the actual game and you're like, holy Jezebel, it's scary as flip. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of games out there in the FNAF community, FNAF area that is scary. Oh, and you guys probably know I didn't mention FNAF World. It's not canon. Even though Scott Cawthon created FNAF World, it's basically like a kid version of Five Nights at Freddy's with a few Easter eggs, but it's basically for fun. Yeah, type of thing. So, yeah, that's basically Five Nights at Freddy's for you guys. And basically my own thoughts about it, as well as possible theories. If you guys like Five Nights at Freddy's, tell me what you like about Five Nights at Freddy's. Tell me what you like about anything, like it's the games, the merch, maybe your own OC. Who knows? And maybe you could establish like connections you made because of Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, you guys know I have a girlfriend, Holly Clark, SFM, is a person that loves FNAF. I mean, that's one of the main reasons that her and I dated. Love you, honey. And also, you guys probably say, well, you're sort of in FNAF. I am sort of in FNAF. FNAF will always be part of what I have done, and I won't cut it out of my life. However, in terms of quote-unquote community, I think I'm just going to make my own community. I mean, I'm just going to grow my own community. I'm not gonna just be part of a community like anymore. I'm just gonna do my own thing. But hey, it's part of life. You guys probably want to know even more about Five Nights at Freddy's. check out like MatPat, Game Theory, and all those other guys. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna say for now. If you guys enjoyed, like, share, and subscribe. Help me get to 10,000 subscribers, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless you, rock. Don't forget it.